We're back on the deep dive. And today, well, we're getting straight to the heart of it, aren't we? Modern relationships.
Absolutely. That search for love, people call it the most powerful force, and yet.
And yet it causes so much pain. So often it feels like this game where you're just constantly compromising, chasing people who, let's be honest, don't seem to want you back.
Right, that feeling, that specific pain. That's exactly why we're diving into this today. Our mission really is to unpack this idea called the let them theory.
Okay.
And see how you can actually use it for dating, for commitment, even for getting through breakups. We're looking at what happens when, your heart's running the show and logic's just gone.
Totally out the window.
We want to help you get your power back in those situations.
Because it happens all the time. You chase the idea of someone, the potential you see, instead of looking at the reality. So the goal today, learn the difference. Stop chasing the fantasy. Start choosing the real, secure love you actually deserve.
Okay, so let's lay the groundwork. What is this let them theory at its core? It's actually pretty simple.
Okay.
Let people show you exactly who they are. Let them be that person. And your only job, react honestly to what you see.
Let them be them.
Let them be them, because here's the fundamental truth for adults. People choose who they love and how they love. And sometimes they just won't choose you.
Oof. Yeah.
And you have to accept their behavior as the absolute truth of how they feel. Not their words, their behavior.
And that's where we trip ourselves up, right? We become our own worst enemy. We've all been there.
Definitely.
Letting some stranger you met on an app completely ruin your day's mood. Or, staying with a partner who treats you like a roommate they don't even like much.
Exactly. And the sources we looked at really highlight why we do this. We get trapped by fantasy.
How so?
Well, when your heart gets involved, suddenly you're a genius at explaining away bad behavior.
Yeah, you rationalize everything.
Totally. You build this whole story in your head where, oh, they're just busy or they're scared of commitment, instead of the simpler, harder truth. They're just not that interested.
And we stay because it feels safer.
Yeah.
Even if it's miserable.
It feels less scary than the unknown, right? Yeah. Less terrifying than actually being single again.
So the big takeaway here is really about self-respect then.
Fundamentally, you deserve an amazing love story. And the let them theory, its real power is that it gives you this radical clarity.
Right.
It forces you to look at the behavior, what people actually do, not what they promise, to figure out who's genuinely worth your time and your commitment.
Which brings us squarely into the dating world.
Yeah, the modern dating scene.
Let's just say it, it's rough out there. The apps, social media, it often feels like this really toxic, shallow contest.
It does, and everyone's offering tricks and hacks on how to win someone over.
Yeah, play the game.
Exactly. But we need to flip that script entirely. Finding real, lasting love, it's much more about saying no than it is about saying yes.
Interesting. Say more about that.
Well, when you set and actually stick to high standards, genuinely high standards, dating stops being this audition where you're trying to impress someone.
Okay.
It becomes a process of elimination. You're figuring out who doesn't meet the bar. And honestly, it takes guts. It takes bravery to look at someone's actions and admit, you know what? They're just not interested in me the way I need them to be.
I really like that reframe. It shifts the power back to you. It's not about desperately finding the one to complete you. It's more an opportunity to learn about yourself. What do you actually like? What will you absolutely not tolerate? What are your hard lines? You're building your own amazing life.
Yes.
And the right partner gets the privilege of sharing that with you, not the other way around.
Precisely. And this is where we hit that crucial test for interest. If you take away only one thing from this whole deep dive, let it be this.
Okay, lay it on us.
If someone likes you, you'll know. If they don't, you'll be confused.
Wow. Simple but powerful.
It really is, that confusion. That's the danger zone. If you find yourself constantly analyzing their text, trying to figure out what they meant, guessing how they feel.
Which we all do.
We all do. But it means they don't like you the way you want and deserve to be liked. Period.
It's incredible how good we are at explaining away those confusing signals, though.
Okay.
We become like the defense attorney for the person we're dating, arguing against the clear evidence.
Totally. Exhibit A, he hasn't called in 3 days. Objection, he's just really busy with work.
Exactly. So what are some of those specific chasing behaviors the sources warn us about? The signs you're caught in that loop?
Okay, classic signs. You are always, or almost always, the one texting first, calling, making the plans.
Initiating everything.
Everything. Or you genuinely believe that those drunk hookups or late-night you-up texts are somehow leading towards a real, serious connection.
Right. Wishful thinking.
Big time. Or maybe you think you can fix them. Or that if you just craft the perfect text message, they'll suddenly realize what they're missing and commit.
Ugh, the perfect text trap. Been there.
Haven't we all? The absolute black and white reality check is this. Their behavior tells you exactly where you stand. No exceptions.
Okay.
You are either a priority or you are a convenience. There really is no fuzzy middle ground. And those famous mixed signals, they are not mixed. They are a crystal clear signal saying you are not a priority to me.
That's a tough pill to swallow, but it makes sense. Can you give us a couple of concrete examples of those not so mixed signals?
Sure. Example 1. They text you constantly, all day long, blowing up your phone, taking up your mental energy.
Right. Seems interested.
But they never suggest a specific plan to actually see you in person. What does that mean? They're using you for attention, maybe validation. They are not looking for a real relationship.
Okay. Example 2.
Example 2. They only want to see you when they happen to be back in town, or maybe when their original plans fall through.
It's a backup plan.
Exactly. They want sex or companionship on their terms when it's convenient for them. They do not want commitment with you.
So the moment of change, the power shift, comes from applying the let me part of this theory to yourself.
Yes. You have to look in the mirror and say, okay, let me wake up. Let me be brutally honest with myself about what this person's actions are telling me.
Stop making excuses.
Stop making excuses. Stop creating these elaborate fantasy scenarios in your head. That's where you give all your power away in the gap between reality and your rationalizations.
Okay, but what if this isn't a one-off? What if this is a pattern? You consistently find yourself attracted to people who just won't commit.
That's a really important point. If this feels familiar, if it's a repeating cycle for you, the sources strongly suggest you need to consider something deeper.
Which is?
You might actually be, maybe unconsciously, in love with the chase itself. You might be living more in the fantasy of potential than in the reality of the connection.
Wow. Okay. And if that resonates, if someone listening thinks, yeah, that's me, what then?
Well, there's some compelling research here. A study from the University of Alberta found something fascinating.
Yeah.
After that initial honeymoon phase wears off, new relationships tend to fall into the exact same dynamic patterns as your previous relationships.
So you just repeat the cycle with a different person.
Pretty much. If you keep finding yourself in the same kind of unsatisfying dynamic, the answer probably isn't finding yet another person.
Yeah.
It might be taking a significant break. Like, maybe even a year of being intentionally single, focusing really hard on healing your own patterns, figuring out why you're drawn to that chase.
That takes courage, too. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about taking a relationship to the next level, commitment.
Right. The big C. First rule. Never, ever hint about commitment. Don't try to be subtle or drop clues.
Why not? Seems less confrontational.
Because healthy relationships are built on direct, honest communication. Having a real, potentially difficult conversation will only destroy what's already fake or fragile, and you need to know if it's fake.
Good point. Okay, so you're dating someone, things are going well, but you feel like you're being strung along maybe.
Yeah.
How do you have the conversation?
Right, the what are we talk, essentially. There's a really powerful technique for this, adapted from relationship coach Matthew Hussey, and the key insight is stop focusing on the other person.
Stop focusing on them. How?
The typical mistake is making it about them. Why aren't you ready? What are you afraid of? The solution is to make it about the value of your own time.
Okay, intriguing. How does that work in practice?
So the conversation needs to be face-to-face, calm, non-emotional, fact-based. You're not accusing, you're stating your reality.
Got it. What's the script look like?
It's focused entirely on your needs and boundaries. Something like, look, I've really loved spending this time with you. I know myself, and I know I'm at a point where I'm looking for a real commitment. I value my time and my energy deeply, and I only want to invest more of it if we're both seeing this going to the next level. If you don't see the same thing, that is totally okay. This has been great, but I need to choose to invest the time I have with people who want the same things I do.
Wow, that's direct. And it sounds incredibly powerful, but I can imagine my heart pounding just thinking about saying that. How do you deliver that without crumbling?
Because it's framed as a statement of fact about you and your needs, not an attack or an ultimatum directed at them. You're prioritizing your future self, the one who deserves commitment over your present fear of rejection.
Okay. And the crucial part comes after you say it, right?
Absolutely crucial. You've stated your truth. Now, you have to fully embrace the let them part. If they say no or they hesitate or they can't give you a clear yes, you must accept that as their answer. Let them say no.
And if they refuse commitment, but you stay anyway.
Then, according to the sources, you are no longer being strung along by them. You are actively choosing to string yourself along. You're choosing to accept, well, table scraps, essentially.
Right. Okay. So that covers dating and getting to commitment. But what about long-term relationships, the choice you've already made? How does the let them theory apply when you're years, maybe decades in?
Great question. Now we're shifting into the long game. For established partnerships, the test isn't really about attraction anymore. It's fundamentally about acceptance. Acceptance of your partner exactly as they are right now. You have to ask yourself, honestly, can I accept this person with all their flaws and quirks exactly where they are in their life right now and still love them?
Wow.
And here's the kicker. You have to operate under the assumption that the things that drive you crazy, maybe they're messy, maybe they're always late, maybe they lack ambition, might never, ever change. Can you live with that?
That's a high bar. This connects to that ABCDE loop concept for existing relationships, right?
Exactly. It's a framework for navigating those potentially unchangeable issues. You start with A, B, and C. These are about gentle influence. You try these for maybe 6 months.
Remind us what A, B, and C are.
A is apologize and ask. You model the change you want to see, take responsibility for your part. B is back off and observe. Sometimes giving space allows things to shift. C is celebrate any small positive steps and continue to model change.
Okay, so you try influencing for 6 months. What if nothing changes?
Then you move to step D. Decide. This is the critical point. You have to decide if this specific issue, this thing that hasn't changed despite your efforts, is a deal breaker for you.
And the test for that is?
The brutal honesty test. Could you genuinely stay with this person happily for the rest of your life if this one specific thing never, ever changes?
Okay, and if the answer is, yes, I could live with it, even if I don't like it.
Then you arrive at the very blunt step E. Either end your complaining about it or end either relationship. If you choose to stay, knowing it likely won't change and deciding it's not a deal breaker, then you actually owe it to your partner and yourself to stop bitching about it. You have to fully accept it. That's the ultimate let them be them in a long-term partnership.
That is really challenging. But it makes sense. It forces a decision instead of lingering resentment.
And this ties directly into that major finding from relationship researchers, Doctors John and Julie Gottman.
Oh yeah, their work is legendary.
After studying couples for like 40 years, they found something astounding. 69% of relationship problems are basically not solvable.
69%, that's those problems.
Exactly. These are perpetual issues. Things like one partner being messy and the other neat, different political views, different levels of ambition, different social needs. These aren't things you fix.
So what do you do with them?
You manage them. You learn to live with them. They require deep, ongoing acceptance. You literally have to let them be those things that are fundamentally part of who they are.
Okay, that 69% figure is blowing my mind a bit. It reframes conflict entirely. So if most issues are unsolvable differences, what constitutes a real deal breaker? Where do true compatibility issues come in?
True deal breakers, according to the Gottmans and other sources, usually arise when your deepest hopes, dreams, and values clash irreconcilably. What the Gottmans call unfulfilled dreams.
Like what? Specific.
Like fundamentally disagreeing on whether or not to have children. That's huge. Or one person's life dream requires moving across the globe and the other absolutely refuses to leave their hometown.
Got it. Those really core life path things.
Exactly. And when you hit one of those, the clarifying question becomes incredibly stark.
Which is?
Will you regret breaking up with them more than you will regret giving up that fundamental dream?
Oof, that's heavy.
It is. Because if staying with them means sacrificing something truly core to your identity or life plan, like having kids, if you desperately want them, the sources are clear, you will likely end up regretting the time you spent hoping they'd change their mind.
Okay. So we've navigated dating, commitment, long-term acceptance. But sometimes things just end. Let's talk about heartbreak.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge this. Breaking up with someone you still love is incredibly hard. It's not just feeling sad. It's, as psychologist Dr. Ann Davin points out, a real neurological and physiological event. It's grief.
How so?
That partner, their presence, their routines, they become literally intertwined with your nervous system. Breaking up is like a withdrawal.
Okay, so knowing it's like a physical withdrawal What's the protocol? How do we use the theory to get through that pain?
We apply the principles. First, the absolute rule of thumb, especially initially, no contact for at least 30 days.
30 days minimum. Why so strict?
Because any contact, a text, seeing their social media, anything can reactivate those old neural pathways, those old nervous system patterns, and basically reset your healing clock. You need a clean break to let your system recalibrate.
Okay. That makes sense physiologically. What else?
Take some comfort in the data. Research shows about 71% of people start feeling significantly better around the 11-week mark. It won't feel like it initially, but there is a timeline to healing.
Good to know there's light at the end of the tunnel. And how does the let me part apply here?
You apply it to your grief process. You say, let me grieve. Let me be sad. Let me cry in my bed for 3 days if that's what I need right now. Let me feel this without judgment. And importantly, let me resist the urge to reach out. Allow the process. Sadness is a healthy response to loss.
Okay, allow the grief, but eventually you need to take action, right?
Yes. When you feel ready, not necessarily good, but ready to move, the sources suggest some really practical steps to reclaim yourself and your space.
Like what?
Number 1, purge your environment. Get rid of the triggers, photos, gifts, little mementos, box them up, give them away, whatever. Just get them out of your immediate sight.
Okay. Step 2.
Give your bedroom, especially, a small makeover. New sheets, rearrange the furniture, different scent, small changes that signal to your brain, your nervous system, this is a new chapter.
I like that. 3.
Reach out. Lean on your support system, friends, family, even understanding coworkers. Tell them you need support. Make plans. Don't isolate yourself.
Crucial. 4.
Fill your calendar. Be rigorous about it. An idle mind is the absolute enemy when you're healing from heartbreak. Stay busy, even if it's just walks or coffee dates or going to the library.
Keep moving. And 5.
Pick a personal challenge, something totally unrelated to the relationship, something just for you. Train for a 5K, learn a new skill, climb a mountain literally or figuratively, something to build personal pride and focus your energy.
Those are really concrete. I like that. Any final advice for that single period post-breakup?
Yes, a really key one. Do not fall into the trap of the revenge body or trying to get successful for your ex to show them what they lost.
Right. Do it for yourself.
Do it for you. The question to ask yourself is powerful. If I knew for a fact that the absolute love of my life was going to walk around the corner in, say, 6 months, how would I want to be spending my time right now? How would I prepare myself? Use this single time intentionally.
Love that framing. Okay, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, what's the ultimate truth here?
The ultimate truth is simple but profound. A relationship doesn't make you worthy of love. Your existence does. You are the love of your life. The foundation for every single healthy, amazing relationship you will ever have is how you choose to treat yourself first.
So the let them theory, in the end, it's really a framework for self-respect.
Exactly. It teaches you to accept other people's behavior as the truth. Let them be them so you can finally stop chasing fantasies and start choosing your own peace, your own happiness.
It gives you permission to say,
let me prioritize my own well-being. Let me set boundaries that actually protect my energy and my peace. And maybe most importantly, let me love myself enough to walk away from situations and people that no longer serve me.
the power to create the love you deserve. It's always been inside you.
It always has. The solution isn't changing other people. It's using this theory to see them clearly, accept their behavior as truth, and then change how you respond, how you show up. Stop chasing. Start choosing.
Powerful stuff. Okay, as we close out, we always like to leave our listeners with something to chew on, something provocative based on the sources. A key observation that came up about relationships that ended, even long ones, was this nagging regret. And it usually wasn't that the relationship failed per se.
What was it then?
It was wishing they'd found the courage to face the difficult truths, the elephants in the room, much, much sooner, even if facing it didn't ultimately save the relationship.
Avoiding the hard conversations.
Exactly. So the final thought we want to leave you with is this. What difficult conversation have you been avoiding in your own life right now? Could be a relationship, work, family, anything that, honestly, regardless of how it turns out, facing it would make your future self's journey a whole lot better. Something to think about.